It is a new day out here on the Jimmy build, and we're going to start with disassembly. Last time on the build, we cleaned stuff up. I got rid of a bunch of broken glass and things were in there. We got a good look at what we had to start with floor-wise, floor pans, all that stuff, and took inventory of the things that we had. Now, the goal is to start breaking everything down so we can get started. I like to start with the chassis work first. There's really no point in doing body work on dirty chassis, right? You want to do the chassis and build it kind of ground up. But we have to be able to move it around and things to pull the motor because it makes life easier for me, because you can see that we're limited on space and room. So what we will do is we will get rid of some of the components we don't need, the fenders, headlights, all the hood, all the things and such. Then I don't have to try to lift the motor up and get it super high with the cherry picker and be all weird with it. And all this stuff is going to have to get addressed and gone over anyway. So at this point, it doesn't matter if it is on the truck. So a couple tips: get your sandwich bags ready. When you take a component or a piece or a part off, if it has multiple bolts, like say for instance, if I was pulling this course port off or whatever this holds right here, all of these I would label it on the part and I'd put this in a bag. And then that way, when I go back through, you either spend the time labeling, bagging, and tagging stuff now, or you're going to spend it later trying to dig through the box or the bucket or wherever you put your hardware and trying to figure out if you had enough bolts and what bolts went where. So you spend it either on the front end or you spend it on the back end. So that is it. We'll time lapse you guys a bit. We're going to start taking sheet metal and taking parts off. If I run anything fun, we'll bring you back. If not, we just need to get through this. So that way we can push this thing back and then I can pull the drivetrain out is kind of the goal. Because after we get this off and all the stuff kind of disassembled, we will turn our attention to the chassis work. So we'll really square this thing up where it's going to live, because I think at that point it will end up living on jack stands for quite a while. So we're going to have to make sure with our limited space that we have room to work around it, because once we start working on axles and things and pulling stuff out of this, we're not going to be able to move it around very easy. And I feel like a lot of you guys, it's the same thing. You're going to have to pick a spot where it's going to live. So if it's going to live somewhere, you got to pick the spot and make sure it's a good space. Okay, first fun hiccup. I usually like to just cut the hoses and things and pull them off. This cap wasn't even on. This thing looked like it didn't have fluid. No, it did. And for some reason, dude, it smells like urine or dirty feet or something. This is the smelliest coolant ever, so I don't know. Maybe they got in a pinch and they had to, I don't know. But it's terrible. We get it cleaned up, we'll keep rolling. But yeah, obviously it should have oil and transmission fluid, so when we get that far, I was smart enough to do that, but I believed the cap not being on in the radiator, and I twisted a little petcock guy, nothing came out. I'm like, oh, we're good. The block still had water. Show you guys around really quick. So this thing has seen some action. You know, it's kind of not terribly happy, but the front frame horns and all of this stuff is good. So it looks like cosmetic superficial fun. So I'll probably have to scout another one of these. I could actually straighten this all the way out and make it really nice. I just don't know if that would justify the time spent, because I think that you can get these. So I'll triple check. We'll save this one, we'll put it in the back. But yeah, it would take me a bit of effort to get that thing all straightened up. In my opinion, I don't think it's worth it. So this can be replaced. Probably replace that. We're gonna take this all off. We've got radiator, all the fun stuff out of there. Oh, that's loosened up. We're looking good. And we had like a nest of something, man. I don't know if those are wasps or what, but there was a bunch of stuff and packed all in there. So I found several of these. So the battery tray is gone, all that other stuff. And here's the front Headlight trims actually look good. I think for the most part, I haven't really eyeballed stuff too bad, aside from that other piece. This holds the radiator. It's like probably charcoal canister or something. Then we just unplugged this and laid it over. The harness is awesome too. Nobody's messed with any of this stuff. So we may just put all this right back in. We'll see how we go. But regardless, we're going to keep rolling. So see if we can take the rest of this stuff out, condenser, all of that, and then maybe detach the fender from this. Go forward with this, take this off, and obviously we got fenders, inner fenders, and that should expose all the fun stuff in there. Probably should have thought that one through a little bit better before I yellowed into it, but there's probably a better way to take this hood off. It's just really big and awkward. So we got it done. We didn't drop it on ourselves. But if you have a better way to do it by yourself and you're the size of a wet noodle, please, in the comments section, let me know so I don't smash myself next time. Maybe I'll get the shop help out here. We'll stuff Eddie or Fruki in there and they can hold it up while I loosen it. Alright, back to it. Alright, we got that off, but we got more dudes in here. So I think it was a whole wasp's nest. So there's a bunch of dead ones in there, yeah. So there's more of this thing. So I'm just glad that those things are not alive, because I would probably freak out. Because you run out of the garage screaming like a child for sure. So gravel guards off. We will clean out the little, I guess insects are kind of better than critters. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. More honeycomb stuff down there, but we're gonna start working on getting this off, I think. And then I have to loosen it from the fenders. So we'll just see how we go. We're just gonna take things loose. Maybe I should get my little vacuum out and clean some of this stuff real quick before we start banging on it. Yeah, we got more stuff over there. So I like to clean this stuff when you're laying underneath and you start giving something the ugga-duggas, and the next thing you know, you're eating bugs and dirt and it's all in your eyes. And then you run out of the garage screaming like a little child. So let me clean up the bed and we'll keep rolling. Bring you in for a little more progress, then we'll do a time lapse. But headers are off. We had one casualty on the spark plug. Broke that little dude off, but whatever. It's not like they're getting reused anyway. And then I took a quick little break to clean up. I need to clean a little bit more of this because it's all just going to fall down anyway. So tried to sweep up a bit and clean up because we have to get underneath next. And we're going to do the transfer case. I'm going to take that off by itself and then pull the engine and transmission, I think, together is my plan. I'm not a four-wheel drive guy. Haven't really messed with any of this kind of stuff. I've done plenty of engines and transmissions and things, but I'm more of a drag racer, not an off-roader. But in this instance, I like this rig, man, a lot. So we're gonna crawl under there, pull all that stuff. I will time lapse that. You guys watch me struggle, and we'll start that right after I clean up. So let's struggle pulling the transfer case. I'm excited. Figure we'll do this part in real time. The way this thing leans, it has like a bunch of weight to it. We're making a giant mess. I'm expecting this thing to like flip sideways and possibly fall down. So that will be exciting, I guess. So I got one bolt up here. I left this for like a little tiny safety measure, so I'd have to get back up out of here in case I took this off and it went, no. Alright, so I'll show you what we got going underneath. I hate doing stuff like this where it's like sketchy. So I do have my transmission jack. We got the big guy this thing is just making a solid mess. So I got this with some tension underneath it. We're gonna let this guy go and just stay clear of it. That's my plan. Okay, now I feel like we messed something up. Oh, I guess it's still hanging on the back of the trans, technically. So until we get it off the transmission, which is even sketchier, great. You get to crawl underneath there with it. Alright, looks like we got exhaust in the way. Guys. So we are on the verge of death. It's split, but the exhaust is hitting, so I'll take the exhaust off. And then I hate laying on that side because I feel like it's gonna roll that way if stuff goes sideways. So let me zip the exhaust off and bring you back. Okay, back to Sketchyville, USA. Trying to get this off the shaft of the transmission, and then the way the weight looks, it looks like it might do one of these. So we're gonna stay back, and I've got it on my transmission jack. So we got an emergency brake cable in the way, I guess, huh? That might help for something, a little bit, maybe, maybe not. Oh, come on, man. Well, at least I was correct. It definitely did the whole lean to the side. Yeah, we'll have to find a better way to lift that. So as soon as I pull it off, it flopped down. This thing looks like it did a decent job of catching it, or maybe it's just on the brake cable. I stayed clear. But when we go to put it back in, we definitely got to figure out how to keep it level with all the weight, you know, on the one side. But she's free. I'm gonna let it drain. So we're making a giant mess. Try not to beat you up with the tractors rolling by that are deciding to clean the horse trail today. We'll lower this down, drag it out, and then I think we will probably call it for today because I've got a big mess to clean up, and then we will get on to removing the power plant, which is straightforward. Done that one a million times. Never done one of these dogs though. Ta-da! Probably not the most efficient way to get it out. And I had to get the emergency brake cables loose, and then I was kind of moving it, and it like rolled over to like a slow death, and then landed on the drainage pan. You can see how it's kind of flattened over there. But all in all, this thing's not as heavy as I thought. Like I was able just to drag it out. I don't think I could bench press it, by the way. I don't know what it weighs. It looks to be aluminum. So we'll definitely have to find a better way to put it back in. But as far as getting it out, it is out. And I got a lot of cleanup to do. You guys don't want to watch that. Nobody wants to watch that. So we'll call it here. And then when we bring you back, we're going to get rid of all the fluids. And then we're going to pull the drivetrain out of this bad boy. So that's next on the list. So hope you guys enjoyed my struggle. Let me know. I'm sure the comment section is going to be on fire with all the stuff that we did wrong.